Hello and welcome. Today, I want to take you on a special journey. This is a journey about money, but it is also about life, success, and how you think. The story I am going to share is not just a story. It is a lesson that can change your life, just like it changed mine. It comes from one of the most famous books in the world, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So, are you ready to think differently? Let's begin. Part 1. A boy with two fathers. Imagine a young boy. This boy has a father, just like you. But he also has a second father, his best friend's dad. So, he has two father figures in his life. Let's call them Poor Dad and Rich Dad. Poor Dad was the boy's real father. He was a very intelligent man. He had a master's degree and a good, safe job as a government teacher. Poor Dad believed in the traditional path to success. He always told his son, "You must study hard and get good grades. Then, find a safe job with a good company. Work hard for 40 years, and you will be okay." But there was a problem. Even with his good education and good job, Poor Dad always struggled with money. He was always worried about bills, taxes, and the price of food. He worked hard, but he never had enough money. For him, talking about money at the dinner table was not polite. It was a stressful topic. Rich Dad was different. He was the boy's best friend's father. He did not finish high school. He did not have a fancy degree or a safe government job. But he was very, very rich. He owned many small businesses, like shops and small restaurants. Rich Dad believed that school was important, but he believed something else was much more important: financial education. He said, "The problem is that schools teach you how to work for money, but they don't teach you how money works." He told the boy, "You don't work for money. Your goal is to make money work for you." Now picture this. You are a young boy, and you have two fathers. One says, "Go and get a job." The other says, "Go and create jobs." One says, "Your house is your biggest investment." The other says, "Your house is a liability if it doesn't make you money." Poor Dad said, "I can't afford that." Rich Dad asked, "How can I afford that?" The boy was confused. Both men loved him and wanted the best for him, but their advice was like night and day. Which path was the right one? Part 2. The trap called the rat race. One day, the boy went to Rich Dad and asked, "Why are you so rich and my dad is so poor, even though he is smarter than you?" Rich Dad smiled. He decided to teach the boy a lesson he would never forget. He called it the rat race. Rich Dad took a piece of paper and drew a circle. "This," he said, "is the rat race. Most people live their whole lives inside this circle and never escape." He explained the cycle. First, you go to school. Everyone tells you to get good grades. Why? To get a good job. So you get a job. You are happy. You start earning money. The first thing you do is you buy things to make you feel successful. Maybe you buy a new car. Maybe you buy a big house. But now, you have new problems. Your car needs fuel and insurance. Your house has a mortgage, taxes, and bills for electricity and water. So, you need more money. What do? You work harder. You ask your boss for a raise. You get the raise. You are earning more money. But what do you do next? You buy an even bigger car or a more expensive phone. Your expenses grow with your income. You are running faster and faster, but you are still in the same circle. You are working just to pay for the things you bought. You are not working for freedom. You are working for the bank, for the government, and for your boss. This is the rat race. You are like a mouse running on a wheel, running very hard but going nowhere. Does this sound familiar? Do you see people around you living this way? Maybe you see your parents or your neighbors. They work hard, but they are always tired and worried about money. Rich Dad taught the boy that the goal is not to run faster in the rat race. The goal is to get out of it completely. Part 3. The most important lesson: assets and liabilities. So, how do you get out of the rat race? Rich Dad said the secret is one simple idea: understanding the difference between an asset and a liability. This is the most important lesson in finance. Let's make it very simple. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. That's it. It sounds simple, but this idea is what separates the rich from everyone else. Rich Dad said, the rich buy assets. The poor and middle class buy liabilities they think are assets. Let's look at some examples. Example 1. Buying a car. Imagine a young woman named Maria. She saves $10,000 and buys a beautiful, new car. She feels so successful when she drives it. But is this car an asset or a liability? Every month, Maria must spend money on fuel, insurance, taxes, and repairs. The car is losing value every day. It is taking money out of her pocket every month. So, the car is a liability. Example 2. Buying a small property. Now, imagine another man named David. He also saves $10,000. He uses this money as a down payment to buy a small, old apartment. He cleans it and rents it out to a student for $500 a month. His mortgage and expenses for the apartment are only $400 a month. This means, every month, the apartment puts $100 into his pocket. Over time, the apartment's value will also go up. This apartment is an asset. Rich Dad told the boy, most people struggle because they spend their lives buying liabilities. They buy cars, big houses, and expensive phones that take money from them. The rich spend their lives buying assets that generate money for them. Once their assets generate enough money to pay for all their expenses, they are financially free. They don't have to work if they don't want to. Part 4. Change your words. Change your life. Rich Dad gave the boy another powerful lesson about mindset. He said, words are like seeds. The words you use every day will grow into your reality. He noticed that Poor Dad often said, I can't afford it. When Poor Dad said this, his brain would just stop. It was an end to the conversation. It was a dead end. But Rich Dad taught him to use a different phrase. He taught him to ask, how can I afford it? Do you feel the difference? When you ask, how can I afford it? Your brain starts to work. It starts to look for solutions and opportunities. It becomes a puzzle to solve. Maybe you can afford it by saving a little money for 3 months. Maybe you can afford it by finding a way to earn extra money on the weekends. Maybe you can afford it by selling something you don't need anymore. This simple change from a statement of weakness to a question of power can change your entire financial life. It trains your mind to think like a rich person, not to see problems, but to see possibilities. Part 5. Don't let fear stop you. The boy was excited, but he was also scared. He said to Rich Dad, this all sounds great, but what if I try to buy an asset and I lose my money? What if I fail? Rich Dad laughed. That is the best question you have asked me. The poor and the middle class are so afraid of losing money that they never take any risks. They keep their money in a savings account where it is safe, but it doesn't grow. They are so afraid of failing that they never try. He continued, the rich are also afraid of losing money, but they don't let fear control them. They see failure as a part of learning. When you learned to ride a bike, did you fall down? Yes, of course. Many times. But did you say, I am afraid of falling, so I will never ride a bike? No. You stood up, you learned from your fall, and you tried again. Building wealth is the same. You will make mistakes. You might lose some money. But every mistake is a lesson that makes you smarter for the next time. The main difference is that the poor stop after one mistake, while the rich keep going. Part 6. Your action plan for wealth. The boy was ready to learn. So, Rich Dad gave him a simple, step-by-step plan to start building wealth, even with very little money. Understand your money. For 1 month, write down everything you spend money on. Every coffee, every bus ticket, everything. At the end of the month, look at your list. Where is your money going? You will be surprised. Start small. You don't need $10,000 to start. You can start with $10. Buy 1 share of a big company. Put it in a savings account that gives you interest. The goal is not to get rich overnight. The goal is to start the habit of investing. Learn something new every day. Read 1 page of a book about money. Watch a 5-minute video about investing on YouTube. Knowledge is your real power. The more you know, the less afraid you will be. Pay yourself first. This is a secret of the rich. When you get your salary, the first person you should pay is yourself. Before you pay your rent, before you buy food, put 10% of your money into your savings or investment account. This is your money for your future. Buy assets before luxuries. The middle class buy luxuries first, like fancy cars and big TVs, and then they have no money left to buy assets. The rich buy assets first. They use the money that their assets generate to buy luxuries. It's a different order. Part 7. Think like an owner, not a customer. Rich Dad wanted to change the way the boy saw the world. He said, stop thinking like a customer and start thinking like an owner. For example, when you walk down a busy street, a customer thinks, oh, that's a nice cafe. I would like to have a coffee there. But an owner thinks, that's a busy cafe. How much money do they make in a day? What are their costs? How could I open a business like this? When you use your phone, a customer thinks, this is a great phone. An owner thinks, millions of people use this phone. What kind of apps do they need? Could I create an app that solves a problem for them? This change in thinking is a game changer. It helps you see opportunities that other people miss. The world is full of problems, and every problem is a business opportunity for an owner. Part 8. The power of starting now. After many lessons, Rich Dad gave the boy one final, and perhaps most important, piece of advice. He said, success is not about having a great idea. It is not about waiting for the perfect time. Success is about taking action. He told him a story about 2 friends, Jack and Tom. Both of them wanted to learn how to invest in the stock market. Jack said, I will start next year when I have more money. Tom said, I will start today with just $50. 10 years later, Jack was still waiting to have enough money. But Tom, by investing small amounts every month, had built a small fortune. He had learned from his mistakes, and his money had grown over time. The perfect time to start will never come. You will never feel ready. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Your journey to financial freedom starts now, with the knowledge you have and the money you have, no matter how small it is. Conclusion: your future is in your hands. Years later, the boy, Robert Kiyosaki, became a very successful man. He followed the lessons of his rich dad. He bought assets, not liabilities. He made mistakes, but he learned from them. He never stopped learning. He escaped the rat race. He shared this story with the world because he wanted everyone to know that financial freedom is not a secret for a lucky few. It is a choice that anyone can make. It is not about how much you earn. It is about how you think and how you act. So, as you finish reading, I want you to ask yourself one question. Which path will you choose? Will you run in the rat race your whole life? Or will you start building your assets today? The choice is yours. Your future is not in your boss's hands. It's not in the government's hands. It's in your hands. Your journey starts now. Make it count.